sex. I grew up in a supportive Christian family, and I accepted Christ at a very young age and was always heavily involved in various youth groups, Bible studies, and church ministries. Although I had a heart to serve in these areas, I also really liked the praise I got from my parents by being so involved. I think I eventually began to subconsciously equate my involvement in these activities with my parents' approval, which began to translate into what I perceived as God's approval. I thought if my parents were happier with me when I did these things, then God must be happier with me too. Slowly and without my acknowledgement, a spirit of pride had begun to build up in my heart, and I unknowingly carried it with me to college. My freshman year at Drexel started out rough. Not only was I commuting from home, but I was also going to my last choice school in a city that I had always dreamed of flying away from. I think the best illustration of my attitude at this time was freshman orientation. They have Mario the Dragon that you can take a picture with, and my dad asked me if I wanted to take a picture with him, and I said no. Yeah, I was pretty bitter. It was around this time that I started attending GCC. Although I fell in love with it almost immediately, I still felt inadequate and pitiful whenever I looked at my friends who were going to their top choice schools and who seemed to have everything working out for them. Even then, my pride told me that I deserved better than what I got. I had worked so hard my whole life, so why didn't I get to choose the path that I wanted? As winter retreat approached, I asked my family group leader what the retreat was like, expecting the answer to reflect the retreats that I had been on with my high school youth group: games, food, and scavenger hunts, with a brief sermon at the end of each day. To my surprise, he answered, "Well, we pretty much just spend the whole weekend praying and worshiping and listening to the speaker." And there's you guys know that joke that... I thought that sounded pretty boring, honestly, but I wasn't going to back out at this point. But God had plans to meet me at that retreat. I learned about the Father's heart for me. I learned that I didn't have to wallow in self-pity, because before anything else, before I was a daughter, student, or churchgoer, I was His child. Later, an older sister prayed for me and finished with, "God, I just feel like you're telling Abby that you're so proud of her." And for the first time in my life, I couldn't think of any reason why He would be proud of me. I thought, what did I do to make Him proud of me? Everything that I had ever done, all the serving, the work I had put into school, the time I had sacrificed for church activities, all those things I had done to earn the pride of my parents and teachers, suddenly seemed so vastly insufficient and so undeserving of His pride. But He said, "Abby, it's not a question of what you've done, but what I have done for you. I've made you my child, and that's why I'm proud." Of all the Bible characters, I think the last one I ever expected to compare myself to growing up is Gomer, Hosea's unfaithful wife. For those of you who don't know the story, God commanded the prophet Hosea to marry a prostitute who would repeatedly leave him for other men. But even though she was unfaithful, Hosea took her back and forgave her for her adultery as a symbol of God's devotion to us, even in our unfaithfulness. Like Gomer, I have chased after so many other loves: academics, the approval of my parents, even earthly relationships, things that momentarily satisfy my longing for security, but have ultimately revealed themselves to be flawed. But God always brings me back home to Him and reminds me of His love, even though I have strayed so many times. In Isaiah 44:22, He says, "I have blotted out your transgressions like a cloud, and your sins like mist. Return to me, for I have redeemed you." That has been my redemption story during my 4 years at GCC, and I'm sure that it will continue to be my story in the years to come. I will be moving to Seattle after graduation, but GCC will always hold a precious place in my heart. Thank you to everyone who has walked this road with me these last 4 years. I love you guys.